So, as we wrap up our conversation, what else would be helpful? What other strategies or potentially resources would be helpful for advocates and programs to think about, to check out as they embark on their journeys?
Absolutely. My words of advice are survivors know best. Persons know best. Listen and believe first. That in itself, if you can fight anything that tells you to pretend like you're an investigator and trying to debunk someone's story, just know that there's a reason that someone's doing what they're doing. And the reason could be you, the reason could be the way you're presenting. So survivor knows best, listen and believe. And as far as our most recent journey in I like to use the word transformation because that's what it feels like. We received a lot of help from NNEDB. We also received a lot of help from the center with, especially with the collaborative group. It was just great. And we actually just recently had a meeting. It's really great. It's just great to know that you're not in it alone and that there are resources, and the resources can be a person as well. It doesn't always have to be something that you have to read in depth. There is, and I feel really terrible because I didn't write it, so now I'm not going to remember. There is a resource tool called How the Sun.
How the Earth didn't fly into the sun.
Thank you. There it is.
Yes.
That tool is exactly what I was just talking about, where you need the examples. You need to know that it's not just theory, that it actually is practical and applicable, which is why I love the collaborative, that we talked about the practicality of what we're talking about, right? If I say, let's engage in harm reduction, and everyone that we're serving at the time at the shelter really is in need of a more restrictive environment around substance use because that's what they're seeking. Harm reduction won't be a great model for that, right? We would need to change and adjust. And that's the other piece, is remain dynamic. What works right now in this moment, post-pandemic, may not work 3 years from now, right? What social workers were doing 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago would not work right now. And remaining dynamic, keeping an open mind, listening to survivors. I think that's something that doesn't feel safe to service providers, and that's something that I've heard before, but I would encourage taking that extra risk, if you will, if that's what it feels like, to on a regular basis, and I won't say what's regular, maybe it's yearly, maybe it's quarterly, maybe it's monthly. We do monthly and quarterly surveys, but engaging survivors in your process, because you're not the ones being served, right? You're not the one having to succumb to these rules or maybe moments of oppression that you didn't know was happening, but someone is on the other side of that. And to make a full circle holistic program, part of that whole is the survivor. And so that would be my other nugget, is make a plan for involving survivors in your process, in your evaluation, in your program development. What's helpful? Before we used to have lots and lots of groups, different groups. And eventually somebody said, I don't want to do all that. I'm not here for that. I'm trying to keep somebody from beating my bleep de bleep de bleep. And you got me going to this, that, and the other. And because we used to require people to go to groups. And it's like, maybe just like the person I spoke about just wants to rest. Maybe they just want to rest and recharge and get ready for their new journey. Yeah, those are my nuggets. And it's all around the survivor, of course. It's all around the survivor. Maybe I'll just make another little third nugget, which is prioritize self-care. You have to be whole. Yeah, I know you can never be 100% 100% of the time. If you can be 100% 85% of the time, I'm good. If you can do what you need to do that other 15% of the time to keep yourself together, to do the good work, do what you got to do.
Thank you so
Of
much. It's been
course.
incredible to talk with you, to learn from you. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to check out my sister's place in DC, a great leader in our field.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.